Hi everyone, welcome to the Rhode Island State House. I'm GoLocal News editor Kate Nagel. Joined today by Katie Sokol, Ratkiewicz, head of the Rhode Island Cannabis Association. Katie, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for being here.
Well, I appreciate it. As you can see here in the halls of the Rhode Island State House, getting ready for a hearing this afternoon as it pertains to compassion centers and medical marijuana in the state. Now, Katie's joining today because the Cannabis Association has some concerns with the legislation as it's written. So, Katie, thank you for joining us. And tell us what your particular concerns are with this bill, again, representing cultivators, and specifically as it looks to how the state is going to treat compassion centers moving forward.
Sure. So the Rhode Island Cannabis Association represents the majority of the cultivators that are out there that are doing business. It's about 51 of us. Then there's also ancillary businesses that support the cannabis industry. And so I'm really representing all of us and our families and our employees. So think about 250 people that, while their jobs are at risk, if this bill goes forward, particularly because there was a switch from what the regulations proposed, which was 6 new retail-only compassion centers. And the cultivators and all of Franco was very thrilled to see that because we wanted more options, more points of sale. We only had 3. But also what we were really excited about was expanded access for patients. This bill suggests that the 6 new compassion centers can grow as much as they want. It's unlimited.
So that in and of itself is a huge concern to the cultivators, being concerned, well, who are they going to sell to then? And this is something that, again, is new in this legislation this year.
Right. Well, it was introduced actually right before the budget vote. Originally, it stated 6 new, retail only, and then there was a quick switch at the end, and again, it said that it'd be cultivation 2 and unlimited. So, we see it again, it's like deja vu, and we're concerned because there's already an abundance of cannabis right now because there's 51 cultivators. To add 6 more with unlimited would destroy us. So like I said, 250 employees would be out of jobs. About 51 Rhode Island small businesses would probably need to close. And I'm not being alarmist. If this goes through, it's a little bit of, it's a piece of what's here, but that will happen relatively soon.
So this really has the capacity, in your estimation, to just destroy the cultivator industry here in the state.
And the challenge is we participated in the model that they put forward, which was there will be cultivators and there will be compassion centers, and we sell wholesale to them. This new bill kind of sets up a whole new scheme and puts us in a terrible position.
And one of the things that we were talking about earlier, of course, the issue of separation of powers and who actually has oversight over distinct portions of the medical marijuana industry here. Clearly last session there were some issues that they attempted to rectify, they're attempting to in this. But you raised some issues about how DBR and the Department of Health do or do not have a role in this legislation.
We have partnered really well with the DBR throughout, the last few years that this program has been up and running. So they regulate our program, and we are just in the business of compliance. I mean, at my building, which by the way, we bought and we invested over $1 million just to set it up. Okay, and I'm not alone. That's probably very similar to the rest of the others, so that infrastructure, capital investment. But we have 30 security cameras, and we are on camera 24 hours a day, and that is with DBR. We're in close contact with them. Anything we do, we let them know. And we've been working really well together. I think the new regulations that they put forward really took into consideration the majority of the things that we were having trouble with, because they recognize that the program that was put together put us at a disadvantage. So I think that was part of trying to rectify that. So that's their role. And then the legislators, it's confusing because they're supposed to regulate us, but now I think the legislators were saying, we're going to legislate this.
And there's a little bit of a lawsuit in there too from the governor's office as well.
Right.
So in an ideal world, as you said, you were happy when you saw the legislation introduced last year. 6 compassion centers, you thought great, addressing the needs of the medical marijuana community. But one of the main issues, of course, is the ability for them to be able to grow. Talk a little bit about your concerns with the zoning issue in terms of how applicants for compassion centers, might focus on really high density areas, and some of the areas of the state, and your concerns might not be in the mix, so to speak, to help patients.
Sure, yeah, it's a good question. That's another element of this bill. It removes what the DVR put forward in the recent regulations about geographical zones, 6 of them, and that was done to cover the state in a way that could address the patient need. So, the cancer patient in Westerly currently would have to drive 45 minutes to an hour just to get their medicine. With the zones, it's possible that, they wouldn't have to do that, which is, of course, what we want, because this is a medical program, and it really is all about the patients. By removing that, there's no guarantee. And what if 5 or 6 of the new compassion centers would like to be in Warwick or would like to be in high density populations? So then that piece wouldn't be regulated either. So it's confusing. We kind of feel like we're getting pulled back and forth.
Well, I appreciate your coming here to explain the situation that the Cannabis Association, the cultivators themselves find themselves in. Now here we are, it's Tuesday. As you can see, we're here in one of the halls of the Rhode Island State House. There's going to be a hearing shortly. Did you just walk me through your testimony? Is there anything that we might not have hit on as you get the legislators' ears about this? Anything else you're going to be telling them, apart from, as you said, would have a devastating effect on the cultivator industry?
Yeah, I would say there's another piece of this bill that's confusing again, and that piece is that they'd like to remove the market analysis piece. Now, I never see why it would be a good reason to not study an issue, especially when it's so highly regulated. But the way that the program is framed right now is it's all about patient access, and so that there's some kind of study that's monitoring patient need, and from there that helps us understand capacity. So removing that doesn't make much sense to us. It's like removing the ability to really understand the market that we're in. It's removing the opportunity for businesses to be across the state and expand patient access, and it's removing the ability for the cultivators to really have a livelihood. So that's pretty much it.
Do you expect a big turnout this afternoon?
I do. So my husband and I own a cultivation facility, Treetop Farms. Our guys will be here for sure. There's a big showing of Rhode Island's finest. We're all here, Tularia. We're all here. It's our employees, it's our families. We're hoping to really make a big wave here.
Well, I appreciate, again, taking your time to talk us through, because as you said, it can be a complicated issue, but you said has the potential to impact a lot of Rhode Island families, a lot of Rhode Island businesses. When you talk with folks, do you think that they understand how big the cultivator business is currently in the state?
No. So what's interesting is every time I talk with a legislator or someone in the media, it turns out that there's a lot of education that needs to be done on behalf of the cultivators, which is what I've been trying to do, especially since the budget passed. And so what we're doing is we're setting up site visits where anyone is welcome to come, and we'll walk through and we'll show just what it takes to pull this off. I mean, the equipment, the HVAC, the design, the architecture. It's like clinical, the place. It's all white, it's all clean, it's all regulated, and so it's a huge investment. And the issue itself is less about whether it's going to go legal and the back and forth about that, which is what I think on the surface it sounds like it probably is. It's really this nuanced issue of what is this model that we're creating in this state in order to have medical marijuana successfully. We thought it was there were cultivators, there were compassion centers, and there were patients.
And there's legislation today that you're going to be making your case for why some things are good and some things you have concerns about. So Katie, with the Rhode Island Cannabis Association, I do appreciate your taking the time, and I appreciate everyone who's watching live from the Rhode Island State House. We'll be live with more on GoLocal, but find us on Facebook, find us on GoLocalProv.com, and have a good night. Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.